Right, so for selfie lovers, I come bearing great news because iPhone 17 is getting a massive selfie camera upgrade. Let's delve in. So courtesy of analyst Jeff Pu, apparently all iPhone 17 models are getting a new 24 megapixel front-facing camera. Now this is not the first time this is being reported. Min-Chi Kuo had also told us about this a few months prior. And while this will be the first time the iPhone's getting a selfie camera upgrade since the iPhone 14, which introduced autofocus to the selfie camera, that was a big change. It didn't make the selfie shots much crispier because you could actually focus on the subject. And now the megapixel increase will take things even further. This also lines up with something Gurman told us, where apparently Apple's gonna tout the iPhone 17 Pro as the ultimate content creation machine, and considering many do vlog on their phones and they use the front-facing camera for that, the iPhone 17 having a major upgrade with the selfie lens means Apple can tout that as a big upgrade and a big incentive for content creators to get this phone. Now Jeff P also told us we can expect 12 gigs of RAM on the Pro and Pro Max, I'm assuming to help with Apple Intelligence whenever that fully launches, but regardless, additional RAM is great for future-proofing these devices, and also can expect a 14 megapixel telephoto camera on both the Pro and Pro Max. So unlike in previous years where only the Pro Max got the exclusive new camera feature, this year the new telephoto is coming to both the Pro and Pro Max. He also expects A19 and A19 Pro to be based on TSMC's newer 3rd generation 3nm process. We're not moving to 2nm, but to be honest that's not really much of a bummer because these chips are already powerful enough and A19 is only going to be slightly faster, but it's not really going to make that much of a difference. Finally, Jeff Pu kind of points out the obvious and says we can expect the iPhone 17 series to launch in September, which, yeah, doesn't take a genius to work out. That happens every single year. Now let's delve into machinery parts that have leaked for iPhone 17 Pro, showing us the new design. Courtesy of Mijimbu, we have an image of iPhone 17 Pro machine parts from an assembly line that confirm the design we've been hearing for the last few weeks. There's the familiar triple lens layout, but the LiDAR scanner, mic and flash have moved to the right sides, and it's all encompassed within a rectangular module at the top now. By the way, we have no idea what the material of the chassis is in this image. Rumors have been saying Apple switching to aluminium, but we don't know for sure right now. Yes, you may be confused. Why is Apple even considering aluminium in the first place? Isn't titanium way more durable? Well, I reckon aluminium allows the Pro phones to come more fun colors, and that could entice consumers. It's also going to be cheaper for Apple, and it's easier to manufacture. There is also a larger circular opening, which will probably be for internal components like the battery and MagSafe coil, but there have been some rumors that we could either see Apple use a glass logo that allows for wireless charging, since apparently the backplate's going to be part aluminium, part glass, and so they might be making space for that. Or there's a larger cutout here that makes way for a new reverse wireless charging feature that's also been heavily rumored. They've apparently been testing 7.5 watt reverse wireless charging on prototype iPhone 17 Pros, which means you can now charge AirPods on the back of your phone. That would be very clutch. But I will mention that this has been heavily rumored for a while. I remember hearing rumors about this as far back as the iPhone 11 days, and yet we still don't have the feature. Now let's move on to iPhone 17 Air. Remember how everyone thought the 17 Air was going to be razor thin? Well, apparently that might not be the case. So Min-Chi Kuo in a new report suggests the iPhone 17 Air could be 9.5mm. That is considerably thicker than expected. But before we get more into that, a sub to the channel would be appreciated. It's free and will bring you the latest about Apple right to the subscription box, so please consider it. Join the Saranbyte gang now. Anyway, previous rumors have been suggesting that including the camera bump, the device should be 5.64mm. Now Kuo does say at its thinnest point the device should be 5.5mm, so basically that does suggest the camera bump itself is going to add 4mm to the device, which is pretty insane. Now yes, I know we have humongous camera bumps on current iPhones, and it's about to get bigger, and the 17 Air does have the same 14 megapixel sensor as other iPhone models, and so I guess I should not be too surprised by this, but I'm hoping they can make the camera bump thinner considering there's only one lens on this device. So yes, please make it smaller than 4mm. Though to be honest, even if it's 9mm at its thickest point, that's still thinner than most modern iPhones, and that is the goal with the 17 Air. It's supposed to be thinner than most modern iPhones, but I'm really hoping it's actually razor thin like the rumors initially pointed towards. Let's now talk about thermal upgrades. So Chinese leaker Instant Digital says Apple is going to incorporate a vapor chamber heatsink for better thermals, which by the way has been reported in the past by another source called MyDrivers. This technology is already popular in the Android space, and if you're wondering how it works, Essentially, these chambers spread heat evenly across a large surface area, and this prevents thermal throttling so that the device can maintain its peak performance for longer. This is great news for the Genshin Impact nerds who game on their phones for many hours, but it's not just a benefit for gamers. Taking lots of photos and videos can heat up your device, and to improve thermals improve the camera experience as well, since the phone likely wouldn't be forced to dim the screen to make up for it overheating. Now of course I do want to mention the iPhone 16 models did have thermal upgrades which made a difference in my testing. I believe they included a graphene sheet to dissipate heat, but a vapor chamber will make an even bigger difference when you're pushing the device in extreme conditions like gaming or heavy usage of the camera, and ultimately I'll take any thermal upgrades. It is going to improve the user experience. My drivers had suggested the complete iPhone 17 range was going to get this, by the way, and that made sense to me because with the Air especially being so razor thin, that needs better thermals to prevent any overheating issues. But Instant Digital claims only the Pro phones with the A19 Pro are getting a vapor chamber system, so that those devices can maintain high performance under heavy workloads with virtually no throttling, which is cool, but I would also like to see that with the complete range. And do remember the complete iPhone 16 range did get the graphene sheet, so I think the complete iPhone 17 range should get this upgrade. Now let's talk about the possibilities of a smaller island on the 17 Pro. Chinese leaker Digital Chat Station had said the island would be smaller because apparently there's a new Meta lens for Face ID that integrates the transmitter and receiver components, and so basically in layman's terms, they're shrinking the Face ID components, and that allows the island to be smaller. But Instant Digital now claims that apparently this year Apple's focusing on the back and internals of the device, and so the front should look near identical to the 16 Pro with the same bezel size and island. That's not a deal breaker, but it's a little disappointing because we've now had 3 generations of Pro iPhones with the same exact dynamic island, so I thought we would get a smaller island this year. Plus it would help differentiate the Pro phones since only those would likely get the new island, whereas the regular phones would have the older island, and so that's a clear visual difference that sets them apart. But I guess we have to wait even longer to get that, or maybe Apple's waiting for under-display technology to improve so that they can jump straight to a notchless display. Personally, I don't see under-display cameras getting better in the next year or so I do eventually think Apple's going to either adopt a smaller pill or a punch-hole camera similar to Android devices. We also have iPhone 17 models from YouTuber iDevice Help, however the information he got to make these are from Twitter leaker Mijin Bu, who had shared the machine parts I discussed earlier. So yes, to no one's surprise, these line up with that, and they show off the new camera module on the Pro phones. It's not just models we have, by the way, we have case mockups where we see the design in more realistic renders, and yeah, I need to let this design grow on me, aka I don't really like it that much right now, but I kind of think it will grow on me because I vividly remember hating the iPhone 11 Pro renders, and then we saw the final design and I was like, actually, that doesn't look too bad. So the same could happen with iPhone 17. Even the first Apple Watch Ultra renders were really ugly, but now I actually like the design, and so that seems to be the case with a lot of Apple designs as of late. We have to let it marinate and let it grow on us, and there are very nice renders based on these models, and so yeah, I know for sure I will eventually like this design when we see the final renders. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments, make sure to like and subscribe for more content like this, and thank you for watching.